Are you aware of the IRS's failure to pay penalty? I'm Andrew Bosserman, tax attorney and founder of Boss Tax Law. And in this video, I'm going to quickly explain the IRS's failure to pay penalty, when it applies, and how you might be able to get it reduced or abated. So, in a previous video, I talked about the IRS's failure to file penalty, and that's a penalty that's assessed when you file your tax return late and owe money. The failure to pay penalty is similar, but it's assessed on any unpaid balance. So even though you filed your tax return on time, if there's an unpaid balance of taxes, the failure to pay penalty may apply. And the failure to pay penalty is assessed at a rate of 0.5% per month of the amount of the unpaid taxes. What often happens is that both failure to file and failure to pay penalty applies in an instance. So, for example, maybe you filed your tax return late and you owed money. In that instance, if you're check out my previous video on failure to file, you'll know that the failure to file penalty is 5% for each month that's due, and it maxes out at 25%. So if you owe both failure to file and failure to pay, then it's combined for a max 5% each month. But similarly, the failure to pay penalty also maxes out at 25%. But since it's only 0.5% per month, it can keep running for longer than the failure to file penalty. There are some, if you happen to get into an installment agreement, meaning pay your taxes you owe over time, then the failure to pay penalty is reduced. But in some instances, it's actually increased if you receive a notice of intent to levy from the IRS. So one of the most important things to know is that the failure to pay penalty can be abated. So there's two main ways it can be abated. First, the failure to pay penalty often qualifies for first-time abatement. And first-time abatement is essentially a get-out-of-jail-free card for the first time that you're assessed a tax penalty, and if for the past few years you have been otherwise compliant, paid and filed your taxes on time. So in that instance, the IRS will often waive both the failure to file and failure to pay penalty. But if first-time abatement doesn't apply to you, you can also ask the IRS to abate the penalty under reasonable cause. And reasonable cause essentially says that I did my best to file my return on time. I did everything a reasonable person or business owner would, but for some reason outside my control, I was not able to pay my taxes on time. Common scenarios are disease, death, natural disaster, but other scenarios sometimes apply. Software issues. So if reasonable cause applies in your situation, you definitely want to take advantage of that. And that often requires either writing a letter to the IRS or filing a special form requesting penalty abatement. But the main takeaway is if you don't pay your taxes on time, you may owe a failure to pay penalty in addition to a failure to file penalty if you didn't file timely. The best way to reduce this penalty is to pay your taxes on time. And if you qualify for abatement, follow the appropriate steps to request abatement. So that's just a quick overview of the failure to pay penalty. If you have any questions about the penalty or any other penalties, please reach out.